Evening Year 11. Tomorrow afternoon is Maths Paper 3, the last calculator paper. Here is some last minute advice for tackling the paper tomorrow, whether you are doing foundation or higher. Lots of the advice from paper 1 is relevant to this paper too, but there are some things that are specific to the calculator papers. Firstly, as with the non-calculator exam, you need to have the right equipment with you. Pen, pencil, rubber, ruler, protractor and compass could all be needed, but most importantly, bring your calculator. There will be spares in the hall in case your batteries run out, but there will not be enough to lend all students in the year group 1. As you know, you can borrow tracing paper if there is a rotation question. As on paper 1, you must use a pencil for any diagrams or graphs. That way you can rub out any errors you make. If you need to draw a straight line, make sure you use a ruler and measure any lines and angles carefully. As I've just said, make sure you have your own calculator with you. This is the one you are familiar with using, as some calculators need you to press the buttons in different order. Your calculators need to be in degrees. We will help you check this before the start of the exam. But if you are not sure when you're in the exam, when you press Sin 30, you should get a half. When using your calculator in the exam, press the buttons carefully. Make sure you check on the screen that what you are pressing in is what you want. It is very easy to accidentally press the wrong buttons. You won't necessarily need a calculator for every question. So again, make sure you read the questions really carefully and copy down any information you are using from the questions accurately. Watch out for those key command words. Often on the calculator papers, you will be asked to round your answers. This could be to a given number of significant figures or decimal places. There can be marks for rounding correctly, so watch the Maths Watch clips if you can't remember what this means. Remember, if the next digit is a 5 or above, then you round up. If it is a 4, 3, 2, 1 or 0, then you round down, which means the number stays the same. On questions that involve several steps, particularly on the higher paper, do not round any numbers until the final answer. This can affect the accuracy of your answers. As on paper 1, this paper will get more difficult as you go through it. Don't give up. If you get stuck, don't spend ages on that question. Keep moving through the paper, as there could be a topic later on that you've just covered in maths or you are more confident on. It is important to keep going and answer as much as possible. Watch your timing. You have 90 minutes to complete the paper, and after 45 minutes you should be just over halfway through. This gives you more time to answer the more challenging questions at the end of the paper. You will also hopefully have time to check your answers. Think about double checking your calculations on your calculator. Are your answers sensible, and do they fit with the context of the question? If you are calculating sides of a triangle, remember the hypotenuse, the side opposite the right angle, will always be the longest side. On this paper, there are definitely some challenging questions towards the end. As I said last time, there are opportunities to gain method and process marks, so it is always worth trying the questions. Even if you can't finish a question or you get the answer wrong, you can still pick up marks. Even though you have a calculator, you must still show your methods of working. Write down what you are typing into the calculator. That way, if you press the wrong button on the calculator and get the final answer wrong, you can still get the method and process marks. Unless it is a 1-mark question, don't just do it in your head. Remember, you've got the formula sheet, so if you're stuck on a question, look at this and see if there's anything helpful you can use. This is particularly true if you think the question involves trigonometry. Trigonometry questions are ones involving lengths and angles of triangles. If it is a right angle triangle, you need the SOHCAHTOA formulas. On higher, you also might get trig questions for non-right angle triangles. For these, you will need the sine rule or the cosine rule. On both papers, if it is a right angle triangle, but there are no angles involved in the question, then it could be that Pythagoras' theorem might help you. This is also on the formula sheet. As for paper 1, then you can watch the 1-minute Maths Watch clips linked to the topics to refresh your memory. Please don't panic if you don't know every single topic that there is on Maths Watch. Okay, focus on the topics that you think haven't come up on the previous 2 papers that you've done, and ones that you know from the mock you did in December are topics that you're not so confident with. You can also use the On Maths website to do some practice papers. This is your last maths paper. Remember that your mock grade, like the real GCSE grade, comes from adding all 3 papers together. The one you did in class before half term, the non-calculator paper you did last week, and this paper. Don't try to second guess how you have done, and don't compare your answers with other students. If you've spent time revising and completing past papers, you will be fine. As I said earlier, answer as much as possible. We can only give you marks for things you have written. Good luck.